Alright, so welcome everyone, and thank you Roy Woods for letting me use your Twitch channel for the evening as we are rolling out a project I've been working really hard on for quite some time, and I'm titling it the 40 MSC, which stands for the Mobile Studio Case. And this is it here behind me. And I'm going to open it up and show everybody what it does and why I built it and what it's for and who it's for. And yeah, welcome on this little journey with me and this announcement and sort of showcase of what's right behind me. So let's get to it. All right. So this box right here started a while ago. For me to go on tour with Drake, I needed basically a mobile production, mixing, recording rig where I could do all the things that I need to do in my studio, but on the road from any building as we move across the country and the world. So I built the original one, and this is what came from it. And it is a full-blown studio and world-class. And so essentially, what is in this case is exactly the same as what I make all my music with, and what I mix all my records with, and what we record with, and so on and so forth. So it's everything you ever need, and it's right here, and it fits into this case, which you can tuck away. And the reason why this was so important is because a lot of community centers, which is where I want these cases to go, they don't have space for programming because they're filled up already, or they don't want to sacrifice a whole entire room or an area to then lose to a studio that stops working, or somebody doesn't take care of, or whatever happens. So this, you can roll into a room, open it up, run your program. When you're done, you can close it up, lock it up, roll it out of the way, and you now have your room available for more programming. So this is like the solution, because one day I was driving through my old neighborhood, and a community center that I used to work at when I was young, called Missouri Cowan, and we had a studio there. And I remember after me and Drake blew up, and I stopped by the community center and was like, "Hey, I want to build a studio for you guys. I want to put a case here." And they were like, "Yeah, sorry, or not case. I want to put a studio here." And they were like, "Sorry, we don't have any space for it. We can't afford to give you a room to build a studio." And that was just so tough for me, because I knew that the community would love it and that the youth would love it, and there was no room for it, and that troubled me. So when I built this for touring with Drake, it sort of made perfect sense. I was like, oh my God, they can reel this into any community center. They can move it from room to room. If they don't have space for it, they can lock it up and use it as a table if they need to. Like, it solves a lot of issues that were logistically preventing me from putting studios in community centers or community hubs. And then this goes further, where you can ship it off to reservations, or in northern Canada where you don't have access to this type of equipment and studio. So I'll go through it all in a second and break down for you what's in here, but most importantly to me, this all fundamentally is about serving youth, and that's how it all started, with me trying to get into community centers and having a really hard time. So, before I go too far on that topic, which I will go further, I want to show you guys what's in here. So, those speakers, which are Genelec speakers, 8020s, are the same speakers. We have this camera at all? No?
I cannot see your face, you guys see.
No? We're going. Should I be back there or over here?
That's good.
Yeah? So these Genelecs are the same ones that I mix all Drake's records on. And obviously I have big, loud speakers in my studio, which are Soda speakers, but the Jennies are my favorite close near field. So a lot of the time I'm spending mixing on these exact speakers right here. So whether I'm in my big studio or I'm in front of this case, it sounds exactly the same as far as I'm concerned. Native Instruments keyboard, complete control, machine for drums. So as far as production is concerned, all the native gear, which is all, again, the same stuff that I use. For the interface, we have a Focusrite red 8-line, which is a really powerful interface. It's overkill. This case is overkill. Like, it does too much. It's too powerful. So with this red line 8, I mean, you have everything from all your digital I/O, your analog I/O, Dante, all the sort of new age connections that, you know, it's really important to be familiar with these days, and just has the capability to record an entire band, do pretty much anything you want to do in the space of music, and further than that, in the space of podcasting, film editing, and production, sound editing, sound design, all of the different things you would potentially want to use the studio for, that they can handle and then some. And the case is powered by a Mac Mini, an Apple Mac Mini with an M1 chip, so that's like screaming and doing an incredible job of running all the software. Underneath there is the I/O panel, which relates back to the Focusrite. Another key thing about this is that you kind of can't break it. It's really difficult to break because you can't get at any connections. Everything's closed with locking security screws, so you access all your connections from the front. And other than like unplugging this USB and that USB and like unplugging the speakers, like it's pretty hard to make a mistake with this case. And my original one, I traveled around the world with, and it came back still working perfectly. So I know this can handle some community centers because I beat this thing up originally and it survived. So this thing's pretty indestructible, which is really special about it too. I can get into the software in a second, but also has the Jenny sub. It's equipped with some software called Unity Connect, which is made by Unity Intercom, which connects all the audio in this case via Dante, connects to the internet. So ultimately I want to have these cases all over community hubs and different community centers around the GTA, soon to be the country, the province, then the country, and internationally into America, overseas. I want to put these things as many places as I can because they're really efficient to make and build. And once they all have Unity Connect, you can actually connect them and therefore connect community centers, connect community hubs, people, artists, and just the way technology is moving, that's sort of like a really incredible thing to do. So, I can go more into software. There's so much in this case, I don't ever know where to start. So then, okay, there's also a lot of like really important social assets and tools in here. You know, my sister's a teacher and I have a lot of friends who do community work, and so there's a lot of people around me and I'm exposed to and I'm aware of the work they do. So, you know, part of what this is, and not to ramble, but to explain it all, part of what this is not trying to invent programming or tell people what to do. It's about gifting community with the tools and resources that they don't have. And then they can decide in community and on a ground level how to utilize these things, how to push these assets into programming, where to use them. These very powerful computers, speakers, everything inside of here. So the way you can use it is pretty endless. And so, along with all the studio equipment and ability to honestly like make an album, get a Grammy, mix an album, finish a movie, anything you would ever rent the most expensive studios for, this can do. And to be honest, for me, like I'd kind of rather sit in front of this than that because it's more personable. But that being said, aside from that, there's social tools in there. So, you know, everything from, you know, wellness and financial literacy and trauma therapy and all of these sort of tools of how to cope and exist in this wild world that we all live in are here. And all these resources are going to be embedded into the computer. So not only can you learn about the audio, you can learn about, you know, really important skills that and just tools that you might not have access to. Stuff that's, you know, even for me in my situation, I look at and read, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is incredible information. Like, wow, thank you. And I have everyone around me who are incredible people and community leaders to thank for that. You know, that's not my doing. I just have a dream to bring this stuff to the table, and I'm lucky enough to work with incredible people to help me do that. And so all those other assets inside of this case, also videos of teaching how to use it. So like really simple stuff. Like, okay, well, how do you get a mic to work in this? I want to record a song. All right, well, you can plug this in here and you do this, and you can watch the tutorials, and it'll explain how to do this stuff on a really low, simple level, as well as, you know, making a beat and getting an instrumental in, finding a tempo, and, you know, all of the above. So all these tools from videos, learning how to do the music stuff that I'm going to create and have inside the case, all the social sort of assets. That's what it comes, social assets. Well, there's a better way to explain that. I'm doing a terrible job in that front. But nonetheless, it's really, really powerful there. And obviously, this is a world-class facility that can be used on many levels. So, Which camera should I be looking at here? I feel like I'm doing a terrible job at
And you can go to side camera.
where?
Side camera.
Up here. Alright, so where else to begin? There's lots of software on here too, all the major gods, so Ableton, Pro Tools, Logic Pro, all the native stuff. I mean, it's really powerful. FabFilter, AutoTune, Melodyne. In fact, you want to show the logo screen for a sec there, Martin, just for 1 sec, with the white background, so everyone can sort of see some of the partners that have come forward to help me on this journey. And part of, just flash for a sec. Part of that journey, or part of those commitments from all those people is, and partners, is just to support this endeavor. To be a resource if we need it for tech support or for replacing equipment that might break or whatever the case is. So it's really, really special and important to me that all of those different companies were knowledgeably involved with what we're building here, because I think it's something that's really important. And with the consistency of these all being identical, that's probably one of the most important parts to me, so that, when a kid goes into a community or a youth goes into a community and sees this case and then goes to another part of town, it's like, oh, I know how to use that, I've seen those before. And then can get in front of it and sort of get to work right away. Now, all of that being said, this comes equipped with tools so that community can be advised on how to put it in action, but really this is about each individual community hub deciding where this is most needed. It might be turning out that coding is done more than music making is done on this machine, and that's fine, because it's really about access to STEM, understanding the value of those experiences, and these are really nice speakers, and I don't know if everybody who's watching this has been in front of like a really nice balanced pair of near fields with a sub that's crossed over correctly, but it's a great experience when you listen to music that way, and this provides that at like a very, very high level. Where should I go next? What am I missing here? Should we go to my brother that's in the building yet, or no, or too soon? Where are we at? Help, I need some help here. No? Yeah? Are we there yet? What time is it?
No, you're right on time.
Yeah? Good. Alright, should I cover some more stuff though? Like, there's something else I'm missing there. There's a lot I'm missing.
No, it's okay. It's 17:20.
Okay, alright.
That's how.
So anyway, my brother Roy came to kick it with me today on this, it is his Twitch channel. How many people we got? A couple people watching? 50?
320.
Okay. We got 300 people, Roy. 500? Oh, my Instagram. Oh, that's good. Roy, come kick it here. Grab a chair.
I didn't know it was
Grab a chair.
Alright. I'll pull it up.
No, thank you for letting me use the channel.
Don't worry, my brother.
You got a lot with me?
What's up, Twitch? What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? There's a lot of cameras.
A couple things. You remember seeing this on tour? We got the original one?
Yep, I remember seeing it on tour. Perfectly, yep.
It was funny. The Bad Bunny story was probably the funniest story from when I was on tour. We were about to go on to do a show, and he had to make some edits.
Yeah.
His backups, he wanted to take certain backups out and leave certain ones in. And this is years ago, so this is before he was speaking very much English. And so we're sitting here, and his manager's there, who's translating for us, and I'm working on the edits, and I'm like, yo, it's good. His manager's good. I'm gonna take that one out there. It's not funny. And what is cussing? It's not happy. No, he's cussing his manager. So after they're done, they walk away, and I look at his manager and go, no, it's okay. He's good. No, like the edits are good. He's like, yeah. He's really mad. He doesn't have one of these. He wants to know when to get one.
That's why he was cussing.
I was like, oh, I made it. And then that was another moment where I was like, oh, this thing's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of simple. Like, we've seen flight cases before, but the way this thing is like packed with everything in it, and it just like opens and closes so easy.
You never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's pretty wavy.
I remember the first time seeing it on the tour. My mind was blown. What is this? It's a contraption that you developed. You were just showing me everything, what's going on, and we're going through some files and stuff from tour and stuff. And yeah, it was great. It was a great experience to see this for the first time.
All right. Well, you know, I brought you out here too because I want to see if we could make this thing work so we can see a little action of this guy. So,
Tester.
can you help me, please? So part of the case too, inside of it is just some moving blankets that we use as baffles. Thank you. Which way are you going to go? Maybe go right up tight to the case, and I'll go beside you. So these baffles are obviously incredibly simple, but it just cuts down on reflections. So when you're in environments such as this one that are like really live acoustically, you can cut down on some of the reflections and the acoustics in the room. Funny story, when I went to work with Dr. Dre, me and Drake went to work with Dr. Dre years and years ago. And we were working at Record One was the name of the studio in Los Angeles. And we walk in, it was the first time I'd been in like a big studio like that. And we go in the room, and it's this huge, probably a little bigger than this, studio floor. Right? And I'm like, whoa, that's a big room. And in the middle of the floor is 4 moving blankets making a little tiny square in baffles, right? So they basically made like a little booth in the middle of this huge room. And that's why I was like, oh man, you can do that with just moving blankets? That's all you need? Oh, that's wild. So anyway, this may just look like some kind of bootleg, but just know, like, this is what you're doing sometimes too, right? Like, you really just want a tight environment where you can cut down on the reflections so you can report. Yeah. It's really all that matters, not to get too much into that stuff. I'll save that for my videos inside the case. So, and then, where's the mic? We got the mic over here too. Here's the mic. So, a big part of the case too is Sennheiser and Neumann came through with the TLL 103, which is one of my favorite microphones, and there's a reason why it's one of my favorite microphones, which is probably because we recorded So Far Gone on a TLL 103. And it's like, it's basically like an 87, but it's a cheaper, it's smaller, but like same sort of tonality. And it's really, really cool, small mic. You can pack it up, travel with it. It's reasonably priced, and it's got an incredible sound. But as I said, like, you know, best I ever had, and this and that, and different classics we did on that mic, right? So Neumann, incredible, Sennheiser, incredible. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a big part of all of this. Because again, like, I want this to be incredibly high end. This is it. Like, there's nothing else. Eh? Like, Neumann mic, you got Pro Tools, full Ultimate, you got Logic, whatever you want to do.
Everything.
Is that Fruity Loops? Fruity Loops is on there. Yeah. Everything. It's all there, right? So So it's a good little situation, and then we should probably plug this guy in.
Producer, artist, engineer, it's good for all.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Man, you know what I mean?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I love about it, man. You know, guys can just come through community centers, just want to jab out, get away from stuff, you know? Just come through, jab out, and just get your skills right, get your skills tight.
Yep, you know what's actually funny? I stored the original one in my garage, and like one of my favorite things to do is like go build in the garage and like hook up rhythms in the garage. It's like another environment. Cool when you can set yourself up in another environment as well. That's the thing about making music. Sometimes when you're in a studio for too long, you get like bored with it. You know, you need somewhere else to catch a vibe, right?
Sometimes I'm falling asleep in the studio. I gotta.
But like catching a new vibe in your studio is really important, you know? So it's like, I used to love like moving studios around all the time so I could have like, you know? Okay, I'm done making beats here, I can't make anymore. I've used all the energy in this space, I need somewhere else. The kind of fun part of this thing is just like wheel it to the next room and then
call it a day.
It's perfect. Alright, let me see if this thing's working. Yeah, I think so.
Alright.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think yeah.
No, I'm not getting it.
You're not getting it?
No, I muted. No, perfect. We hear that? Yeah, we hear that? Yo, what you hear that? This is actually my new instrument today. I'm making an instrument with native instruments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to put it on the air once again. It's not out yet, but once we finish it, it'll be.
That sounds so good.
It sounds like jazz. Hundreds and hundreds of presets I built up. Yeah, never made all this.
Being a new instrument, you're so like you're crazy.
That's it. Never makes it. But like I have a studio, right? So we record all the sounds in the studio. We make all the stuff there anyway, so it's no big deal. Just like compile all the stuff and give it to the people, you know. All right. So let's test it before we got going. make all these drums?
Love that, bro. I love playing this. It's my favorite thing.
Alright, hold on. The machine?
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome.
My favorite thing.
73. They should be able to still. Martin, you're gonna be okay on the switch there?
Yeah, and let me know when you hear. And I'll give you this lap.
You're still here, right?
Yeah.
Alright. So I'm gonna open up the right mic.
Yeah, and you
Alright, ready over there? You working? Oh,
I can hear it here. It's not the mic yet.
oh no mic.
But I hear the beat.
Oh, there we go. You never know. You don't miss the tape.
Oh, baby. Still trying to follow me, you right on me, through, baby, it's you, I need more.
Hey, lava.
You need more, love, you want to be good, love, you need to be on. Oh, I need to be on, love, you need to be fine, love, I need to be on, love, you want to be live, love, baby, you be best to love, I take you eyes, love, you know love, you ask, I got you for life, don't ask her, don't ask. Oh, oh, don't ask her, don't ask.
Sound?
Pardon me? Oh, yeah. It was perfect so to put it on.
Alright, you got my last back there?
That's right.
I'll fill his mic.
And
Alright,
mic's dead. No, good.
good? Alright, see, this is easy.
A little jam.
Quick little easy idea, you know? Boom, boom, boom. Make a beat, 2 seconds. Got an idea, 2 seconds. Fold up the case, pack it up, wheel it away. You're good. It's good. So like the whole point of this too, Roy, is like just showing kids and youth that like, look how easy this stuff is. You know, that some of it can be really intimidating. You think it's really difficult until you get in front of it and you try it. And it's like, you know, all you do is like touch two keys and like some of these kids, like especially in machine, right? Like, these kids have so many samples and things built out already, and so it's like you're just hitting this stuff and the beat's almost done for you right away.
I can take a beat is right there. Like, I love what it from when I was a kid.
That's not even touching food yet. This is my process, so I'll introduce my process and show everybody how I do what I do, so that, you know, everyone who sits in front of this thing is like, you know, you do whatever we just did. You know, we do it, but it's not, you know, everyone can do it. And the other side of it, like, yeah, that's my stuff, but there's also fruity, there's also Ableton, there's also everything else.
So just explore, experiment, and learn. I wish I had this, something like this, when I was like coming up, starting to make music and stuff.
Yeah, I wish I had this at my crib. You know,
even that, you know what it is.
I know, I want to like, even when I go back on tour next, and me and Drake travel again, like, this is going with me everywhere. You know, we need it. And then who's 85, the vision, and I talked to 1985, and I was like, yo, I found a case of, oh, the case is like, could you get me one to Atlanta? I was like, oh, it's like, yo, it's like for community centers, man. It's like, oh, I need it right now. I need one right now. It's like, I'm trying to figure out how to set up a situation, and the thing about this, so many people don't record in studios anymore, right? They're at free where they are. So,
Hotels.
yeah, so with this thing, you can just wheel it into a hotel room. It fits the door, you can fold it up 3 feet. You're good. You get an elevator, it's fine.
Yeah.
You can lift up some stairs. Another thing too about these, which is funny, which I had to say to 35, is like these aren't for sale.
No.
You can't buy them. That's not what we put them for. No offense, 85. Love you, but you know, this is not who we're for. We make it. Well, this is for community. This is for the program that we've been building and working on. That's what this tool is for. You know, and just for every honestly, indigenous communities are a big priority for me too, and putting these in places where they don't have access to this type of stuff, right? Like that is a big deal for me. And the cool part about this, you can't see it, but over on the side is one power plug. You plug this thing into the wall, one power cord, done. Hold it up, fire it up. You get hit in the spot too. Why? Talk to this guy. Why? Oh, this one. We're on this camera. Yeah. Right. Yeah, better. That's the whole point of this one. What are you writing over there?
Science.
No.
So, don't forget about supporting Indigenous youth and reconnecting them to the land.
Yes.
Because it's affordable.
Yes. Well, it's incredible, like, you know, that this can go to those communities, right? That's the whole key about this. You're not taking people away from community. You're bringing this to community. So that's like super important.
And I love that.
And again, the connection, like the Unity Connect, tying all these cases together over the networks is like really special. It's the same technology that I use all the time to connect studios. Like, you know, the voice studio is connected to my studio.
Okay.
So I can go to his studio and hit a button, and I hear what's going on in my studio. Or I can go to my studio and hit a button and hear what's going on in his studio.
What?
Yeah, you can switch back and forth.
Completely different things.
Yeah, like it works flawless. And it's not. There's software out there that does it. You can stop plugins, but the way Connect works is like it's pretty light. It's like broadcast software capability stuff. So they do stuff like TSN networks where they're, you know, that's how they're live from Japan to the Olympics. Well, they're talking, they're back and forth, they're communicating. They're all doing it through Unity. That's like the model. So anyway, that's like a really good stuff in parties as well. I got a call 85 at some point, and tell them that this isn't for sale. I forgot to tell them.
Good to know. Very positive.
Yeah. What time is it now? How are we doing? Are people falling out? It's like, it's super boring. We're getting back right here. We're going up.
Woo! Love you guys. Thank you guys for being with us.
Yes. Wait, what about our little performance? That brought us up or down? That's a good part. How did, right?
Thank you guys. It's crazy.
All right, okay. I'm making up the 85 and see these. All right, I'm going to move over. What camera we on? I'm going to move over to FaceTime over here for a second. See if we can go.
Someone's asking me how they can support it.
Oh, how we support? So, well, did we put the link up here?
No, so you can tell me like.
Okay, sure. I mean, part of this is announcing what we're building and what we're working on, and that the donation link is going live now. And, because we want to fundraise and raise money to support this project. I mean, otherwise I'll just continue building them by myself and giving them away. But I mean, nonetheless, if we can raise some money, that would be awesome. I know what, I'm going to. I mean, if someone gives us money, that's awesome. Wait, what's that over there? What's that?
Huh?
What's that?
This one was from Martin.
Okay, fine.
Oh, you want to talk about this? How the case creates time and space for youth to practice and play, so they can actually hone those skills and get employment and make good music. Very well.
Yeah. Well, part of this is because, but when you put this into community, right now you have access to it. You can learn, and with YouTube and all those different resources these days, you can go online and watch the videos. Part of what's going to come with the case too is all the partners, right? All the content that they've already built and created for how to use the Focusrite RedNet box, how to use Ableton, how to use Pro Tools, how to use Fruity Loops. They've all created this content already, so that content is going to be on the case as well. So you can just flip through videos, learn how to use stuff just that's already in the case. You can go online and figure this stuff out. But the ability to sit in front of these things is different. It's like, when you're first getting in front of a studio, usually you get into the studio and you're not allowed to touch anything. It's like, all right, look around, don't touch anything. All right, you have 10 minutes. All right, enjoy. Okay, now get out. So this thing is it's about being available at all times so that you can really sit in front of it and have some one-on-one time. Just dive into the machines and decide what you like to work with. Maybe have a career opportunity moving forward from this thing, right? Which is a real possibility. Youth these days are learning about technology at such a young age that when you sit them in front of some of these programs, it's second nature. My sister was even saying to me the other day, oh, it's so funny how you just look for the 3 dots now, and then you click it, and there's the other options. It's sort of get to learn how to use all this stuff, and so it becomes really intuitive, and that's part of what this case is too, is sitting in front of it and having that ability. Okay, hold on, now I need to get Matt Newton's number so I can call him.
People are asking about VSTs and software.
VSTs and software. So full native, native. I'm pretty sure. I hope Con doesn't yell at me. We're over here. Yes. I hope Con doesn't yell at me. I love that. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna have all native kits on there. So full blown everything. Well, complete 13, right? All of it, which is huge. And then obviously all the stuff that I'm working on with native, we're gonna put on the cases as well. So from a production standpoint, fully loaded, Ableton side, with all the kits and expansions and stuff, we'll put as much as we can there. Fab filter, so all the fab filter stuff, which is hugely important.